welcome back to the Two Average Brown Bros podcast. I'm your host, Prashank,
And I'm your host, Andres.
and if our voices sound close, you might be wondering why that is.
Well, that's because I am in Ottawa, just visiting good old Brashank.
Exactly, so this is our first in-person recording of the podcast. We've been planning this for some time now, but clearly we haven't been able to do it, and now finally here we are, about 6 months after we started the podcast, we're doing it in person.
Yes, finally in person. It feels weird now.
Today is Monday, October 11th, 2021. So, Andres, what's happening, man?
Well, it's Thanksgiving weekend over here in Canada. So, might as well not pass the day alone. And came over to visit. By the time we are releasing this, Brashank showed me around Ottawa, just getting to know the sights and what's up with the city. And other than that, just catching up with school because we got a break. But let's be real, once you're in grad school, there's really no break. But yeah, that's what's up. What's up with you, man?
Not much, yeah. It was nice, first Thanksgiving away for family from me. So having you over, has been fun so far and will be fun. At the time of recording, I'll be taking you out to Ottawa, so it'll be nice to see the city. It is a little bit rainy, but hopefully the sun will be out in a little bit. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. But that's for later in the episode. So Andreas, what did you learn this week?
This week I learned about geopolitics because it seems like every week I learn something about geography. But I learned about the longest country relationships in the world. So like the Canadian American relationship, but also the Portuguese and British relationship, which apparently it goes back to the 13 or 1600s, something like that. So that was pretty cool just to get a little bit of like which countries get along now. And then also I watched a video of like why airplanes do not fly over the Tibetan plateau, which was very interesting.
Oh, why is that?
It is because mainly due to the altitude of the Tibetan plateau. When airplanes need to come down to whenever their cabin gets pasteurized or something like that. I don't remember the term.
Yeah.
And they need to get more oxygen. When they have to go to the level they're required to, then it gets tricky because the mountains. So that's why nobody flies through the Tibetan plateau.
I just want to point out I did know that, but I wanted the listeners to listen to the explanation too.
Of course, he will know everything about planes. What did you learn this week, Brashank?
For me, one interesting thing I learned about was a whiskey war. So I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a small, border conflict between Denmark and Canada. It's in a place called Hans Island, and since the 1930s, it's been a middle of a disagreement between Denmark and Canada. So what happened was, back in the day, Canada and Denmark couldn't come out with where the line was supposed to be for the border. So each country has been going back and forth and planting their flag in the island to claim it as their own. So pretty cool. Nothing like too exciting, but still pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of the war of Norway and Saskatchewan between the Battle of the Mooses when Moose Jaw, the town of Moose Jaw, had their tallest moose ever. But then I forgot the place in Norway, but they also built a moose that was taller than Moose Jaw's moose, and then went back and forth until moose's I think horn was made a little bit bigger, and that's when they declared a truce. So it's so much like Canada to have one of these like funny competitions with other countries, right?
That's just little things here and there that is just like, why do we even care? But we love having the biggest moose in Moose Jaw in the middle of the prairies.
Exactly. So, Andres, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, and you mentioned it at the beginning of this episode. It is Thanksgiving, so it's only right if we have a Thanksgiving catered episode.
I think we should do it.
So, first of all, What did you eat for Thanksgiving so far?
For Thanksgiving, what did I eat this year, or what do I usually eat
Both.
for
Say
Thanksgiving?
this year because it's a little different than other years.
All right, so I'll start with other years. So, usually for other years, it depends. When I was in undergrad, we will have like a Friendsgiving, and our friend group was very international and diverse. So we will make a turkey just for the sake of making turkey or something, but our main dishes would be all international dishes, um, depending on who was hosting that year. And then after undergrad, it stayed the same. We did mainly uh, international dishes, and we'll just buy like a prep turkey or prep like meat, like turkey meat, just to have as like symbolism of Thanksgiving. And actually, last Thanksgiving, I actually made a turkey. I used the Martha Stewart recipe, and I would say it was fantastic. It's a good recipe and pretty easy to follow. Um, and then for this year, when I came over to Shanks, I got tofu turkey. I forget the right terminology of it, but yeah, it was interesting. It was something different. Usually turkey can get a little bit dry, or like you just get the pull from the meat. But with the tofu, you don't get that. It's just like spongy, and it wasn't bad. It was like different. I would say definitely like the stuffing is good, but of course you miss you sort of like miss a little bit of that turkey taste.
Absolutely, yeah. So normally, back home, I would be obviously my dad's a vegetarian, so just my mom, my brother, and me would make turkey. But then after a while, making a large turkey for three people is not worth it because it goes to waste
Yeah.
for the most part. So then after a while, we just ended up getting those small chickens, the whole chickens, and stuffing that instead. And I think that turned out better than turkey because it doesn't dry out. And as well, the usual such as mashed potatoes, gravy, all that good stuff. And then so this year, I went to my cousin's place and they're vegetarian, so they made us tofurkey. That's a name for it, tofu turkey, tofurkey. It's okay. Like I don't feel one way or other about it. Like you said, it is a lot more moist, than
Yeah.
than normal turkey because turkey does dry up pretty fast. But overall, pretty good food. Filled me up. And then, other times, like you said, in university, we usually got turkey and stuff at school for dining hall. But overall, it's a good time, always a good time to eat lots of food. Growing up in the States, Thanksgiving was actually in November, so we got a whole week off from school, enjoyed that. But then moving to Canada was a little bit different because it's in October and it's only one day off, so kind of disappointing, but that's what it is.
I know, right? I like part of me. I know I should have done my look into it, research part of it, but I'm always like, why is it in October? Like, why don't we follow and do it in November? So,
Well, I have an answer for that because I'm actually checking out right now because I was curious about that. And Wikipedia says the earlier Thanksgiving celebrations in Canada has been attributed to the earlier onset of winter, thus ending the harvest season earlier. So that's probably the main reason. I'm sure there's other reasons, but that's like one of the main reasons.
that would make sense because that harvesting is happening
Yes.
right now.
Exactly. So makes sense. Well, with that, Andres, Thanksgiving, obviously, it's a time to be thankful, giving thanks to things we have, count our blessings. So, let's talk about the things we're thankful for and have a good episode.
Sounds good.
So, what are you thankful for, Andreas, on all of your life?
All of my life, what am I thankful? Well, there's plenty of things to be thankful, but like the cheesy one is like, I'm thankful for living alive. But I'm thankful for just right now, like just the world that we're living in. I'm just thankful to still be able to visit friends, to still be able like to have been able to go back to school and actually pursue my career and everything. So, like in the past couple of years, I think that's something I've been pretty thankful for. As well, I am thankful for my PR card, like my PR in Canada, because then I don't have to worry about visas anymore, which is great. And the usual friends, family, um, close people to me, because you can never get in life. You usually are surrounded by people, and they like those that support you throughout it. Um, that's what you're really thankful for their support and for them being there for you. And now I can say like I am thankful for calling Saskatchewan home for 8 years. uh, Now that when I talk, whenever like someone is like, so how are things back home? Like I think both of Mexico and Saskatchewan as home, which is really weird. I like if you were to ask me before, like, would you call Saskatchewan home? I'll be like, nah, this is just a place where I live. But now, yeah, now I feel like Sask is also part of somewhere that I call home. So yeah, so those are the basics of what I'm thankful for. How about you, buddy?
Absolutely, yeah. So, of course, there's cliche answers such as parents and my brother, friends such as you, just the people around, thankful for my job and all that. But, like, one of the biggest things that, I've been thankful for is just my life because, recently I did move and I've been living by myself for the first time pretty much ever because university, I don't count that as living by myself because you have friends all around you all the time. My parents were only 2 hours away. My brother was only 2 hours away, Saskatoon to Regina. But this year, having, come to a place where I'm pretty much by myself. My brother is here, but he's in university, obviously, so he has his own friends and he has his own schedule. It's a little different. But just being able to appreciate what I have in life and what I've learned, it was a little bit hard at the beginning. Like the first couple of days was super hard because it's like, shit, I'm living by myself. I have to do everything by myself. And it's not that I'm not independent. It's just I had the comfort of living with my parents for so long, having them, especially with COVID, right? One of the things COVID did for us was we all worked from home. My brother had school from home. My parents had work from home. I was working from home. So we're literally together 24/7. Sometimes that does get annoying, of course.
Yes.
But it did bring us a lot closer because, our family has been together. Has been together our whole life, but like it has been super close just because we've moved around a lot. But even with COVID, we just went for daily walks every day or went on road trips every week, things like that. So coming from that to pretty much nothing here in Ottawa right now, it was very hard, but it did make me appreciate that I do have a lot better than most people. Coming to a bigger city, obviously you see more of the less fortunate people, such as the homeless or people that don't have as much. And I am thankful that I have a great life to live. I make a pretty sizable income with a job, great job. I have a roof over my head. I haven't starved a day in my life. There were times where we weren't the most rich people out there. I'm not saying we are right now. We're still in the middle income, but there's definitely things worse out there or people that are way off worse than us. And I'm thankful that, I haven't been through that. And I hope to never, go through that. But also to be able to help other people in need, because of course, people are struggling. We see people struggling like that every day, and help somehow.
Yeah, that's pretty. The move like we keep on talking about, but it's just like we're fortunate enough to have been able to do that move, and I'm personally thankful because then. Moving to a new city gives a lot more new opportunities, and I've had the opportunity to meet great people, and I'm thankful for them. I think I'm thankful also for having classes in person because I don't know. Virtually, like then I can set my own pace at like how fast do I like watch my lectures, when do I watch them, and all of that. But then having in person is just like that support of like when nobody knows anything and everyone just looks at each other, comes out of classes like, yeah, I did not understand what happened there. It's pretty great. And yeah, no, I am thankful for, for like my initial career at the university and what that gave me and kind of like for helping me discover and explore the area that I want to do for as a career for the rest of my life. God knows how long that is because there's many things involved in that, but I am thankful for that. And I'm also thankful very thankful for because during COVID, I got my pops Sherlock, which he's also with us right now. He is being very, very quiet. um, but yeah, I am thankful for having to have him with me. I grew up with dogs, like, I'm pretty sure since, like, I was 1 year old until until like even right now, like whenever I go home, there's a dog. There's still a dog back in Mexico. So always been surrounded by them, and they've always been great company and everything. So being able to have my own doggo over here in Canada has been fantastic, and he's been keeping me such great company. And yeah, like during COVID, like if it hadn't been for him, I would have been entirely by myself. So it's always nice to have company and someone to make fun of the entire time when you can, but then someone to cuddle with because he's a good cuddler. So yeah, that is like another thing like that this year that came over that I am very, very thankful for, because then yeah, it gives me like, he gets me out of the house because he needs to do his business like any other doggo. So then it gets me out to go get some fresh air. It gives me something to take care of, even though sometimes I cannot take care of myself. I know I have to be able to provide him and take care of him. So in another way, it has allowed me to grow that way. And once again, I am thankful for all the growth that has happened over the past couple of years. I think many opportunities came that gave that opportunity, like that chance to grow. And when I look around, like, being surrounded by like-minded people, which I'm also very, like, I'm thankful that I have friends that think the same way, but also I'm thankful for those, those friendships that had entered their cycle. I appreciate them. I am thankful for everything they offered during that time. But I am thankful that I'm able to, narrow down that circle to like having very close friends that we all think very similarly. So then I don't have to worry about like, oh, did what I say was right in front of them, because I know they will not get offended by anything.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that because, we often talk about the things we're thankful for and they're positives. But even the negatives, we don't have to be thankful for the negatives, but as long as we learn from them, learn from the experiences of, obviously negative experiences, most of the time are sad or obviously not happy memories. But as long as you can learn from them, or not even learn, but like reflect on those memories and see how you can improve others, how you can improve yourself, that definitely helps too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as you recognize it, I think that's the important part. But yeah, I think that's we can always go around and around, find the little things that we're thankful for. But during this year, I'm thankful for science, because science has protected us nowadays. And to all our listeners out there, I am thankful for you for being our audience, and also for those who haven't vaccinated. I am thankful. I am thankful for all of those who have gotten out and gotten their vaccines, because slowly we'll make our way out of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, we started this when COVID was still a big issue, and it still is. COVID hasn't died down since we started this back in March. And, the world has changed in so many ways, whether it's, companies working from home for pretty much forever, or the social distancing, or the ways, people are actually wash their hands when they go out and stuff. Hopefully people do it in the future again. But COVID has, it's extended another wave of gratitude, in a sense where we can be thankful for so many things, such as modern science or just technology, like 100 years ago when the Spanish flu was going around, or like even, when the SARS-CoV-1 back in 2003, 2004 was going around, we were scared so much. And even now it's really scary, but knowing, vaccines help us, and being able to connect, with each other through FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, it's amazing, right? Like, we have family all over the world. For you, Mexico, for me, Nepal, but we can still connect with them. It's not like back in the day where you had to write letters and stuff. It's you're able to talk to them through a global pandemic. And yes, of course, we all want to go visit friends and family to other places, but when you can't, because the borders are closed or planes are not flying, FaceTime makes it super easy just to be reach out to them, be like, hey, what's up? How's it going?
Yeah, it just brings everyone closer to each one of us and keep communication a lot easier. I think that's something like it's nice because then at least for me, I'm able to keep in touch with friends back home like on a very constant basis. And by constant, I mean when I remember to text them. I'm a bad person, and sometimes I forget to check in with them. But it's always nice to have that support from them when it comes to having them around in my life. So, Prashant, what's your first Thanksgiving memory?
I think, well, having been born in Nepal and raised there and then lived in New Zealand, we didn't really celebrate Thanksgiving in those countries. Or at least I don't remember those. Like, Nepal for sure, because Thanksgiving is not there. But New Zealand, I don't think we did. Maybe there's something similar like that, but my first Thanksgiving memory would have to be in the States. I moved to the States, and I said this before, we lived in those student housing, because my dad was a student. So there's a lot of kids, around us that lived with us. And there was a coordinator that would also live at the student housing, because it was a student housing, like I said. So they would put on different events, whether it's Valentine's Day or Easter or Thanksgiving. So for what they did for Thanksgiving was, they put up all the like pumpkin carving. I guess that's more for Halloween, but they started a little bit earlier. Because obviously October 31st is Halloween, and they'd have the leftover pumpkins, from then, and bring it to Thanksgiving. You'd do a little bit of that, or just different games. But one of the coolest things was they set up hay rides. So they had this tractor, and they put a trailer in the back with hay bales and fake mannequin cows and stuff, and they just took you around the block. It was really cool because I'd never done something like that before. And then I think at one point they even gave us food. So my first introduction to Thanksgiving food was actually at this residence food, I guess, where everyone came, and it was all a Pollock style. And it was very international because international people lived in the student housing. So not only did we get the basic turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, all that, but we also got food from around the world, which was really cool because it was my first real introduction to people from everywhere. But that was a lot of fun. And then they also had those places where you can sit down on hay bales next to all this harvest grain things and flowers and take photos. It was really cool, and just have a good time with friends, family, and people around you. How about you, Andres? What's your first Thanksgiving memory?
My first Thanksgiving memory, I don't quite remember it, but I would say my first would be when we lived in Montreal back in the day. I think that will be my first Thanksgiving. I don't remember what we did for it, being completely honest. I just remember that we observed Thanksgiving. And then going back to Mexico, my mom always bringing things and things that she learned from her time living in Canada. Since then, we've observed Canadian Thanksgiving almost every single year back home, even just as little as not really cooking the entire thing, but during that day, actually sitting down and being more thankful for our things, or we'll go out for dinner, but then we'll be thankful during dinner, and say all the things you say for Thanksgiving and all of that. So Thanksgiving has always been present, also during elementary school. I went to a Catholic elementary school, so that's another story for a different time. But it was a bicultural elementary school. So because the nuns came from the States, so then we learned a lot about American Thanksgiving. And then I was just always confused about why is American Thanksgiving different than Canadian Thanksgiving? Because that's what I was used to. So always had the presence of Thanksgiving and the harvest. And my mom loves to decorate. So my memories of Thanksgiving always are my mom decorating the house for the autumn and Thanksgiving. So pumpkins, leaves, scarecrows all over, all over the place before we make the transition into a Day of the Dead. So I would say that is my first real experience with Thanksgiving. me cooking and actually experiencing like the dinner and everything with everyone would have been my first year of undergrad. We did a Friendsgiving. What we did, there was a bunch of international students or exchange students actually that year. So we went to our friend's place that lived off campus, and we actually decided to everyone to make a dish from their country. So we were all cooking and we were all making our food over there, and we was like there was everything but the typical Thanksgiving food. So my Thanksgiving didn't have mashed potatoes or gravy or turkey, but it had Indian food, Mexican food, Ecuadorian food, some Norwegian and Finnish treats. So it was pretty diverse. Oh, we also had Dominican food, which was amazing. But it was like we did a potluck style, and it was fantastic. And then as the years passed by, we started getting more into the traditional Thanksgiving. Whoever was hosting will be the one making the turkey, and then everybody else will bring something. Or there will be times that we'll just be like, we'll pitch in and you just prep everything, which is sometimes what happened once I graduated and I started working. I'll be like the host because I love hosting dinner parties. So it would be like the dinner will be made by either myself or a friend will come over to prep the turkey over. But then most of the main courses will be prepped at my place, and then everybody else will just bring like the sides. So someone will bring, the beans and the mashed potatoes. I never did the gravy, so I always ask someone else to bring the gravy, even if it's store-bought. I don't care. I don't have time to think about like how to make gravy. It's enough to think about the turkey and basting the turkey and the stuffing for the turkey. There's just a lot to think about. Plus having the apartment ready to go. And having it presentable for everyone and getting the table set. There's that. So, but yeah, the last Thanksgiving, it was pretty cool because, like I said, I was actually, like, the turkey came out pretty good. And because we were a bigger crowd, then I was like, there's no turkey leftovers. Like, because that's the other thing with leftovers. Like, you keep on, so Thanksgiving happens on Monday, and you keep on eating Thanksgiving food until, Friday, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're not lucky, you eat Thanksgiving food for, almost a week and a half.
Turkey sandwiches for days.
Turkey sandwiches, turkey melts.
Rice and turkey.
Honestly, you figure out so many ways to put that turkey in, or the veggies and mashed potatoes. How do you work them in? So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and also you cannot forget about desserts during Thanksgiving. And so a friend introduced me to this dish that is like a sweet potato casserole, which is fantastic because it's like the layer of mashed sweet potatoes, seasoned with cinnamon and brown sugar, and then you top it with marshmallows. So that is it's just fantastic because it's just like a side. It's not a dessert. It's like one of your side dishes, but it's like a nice counterbalance to the sweetness, to the savoriness of everything else. I'd rather have that than cranberry sauce, TBH. And then of course, tradition, Costco pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah, or pecan pie. I don't know if you've had pecan pie. Oh, I love pecan pie.
No, they're so good.
But yeah, so I was talking about the apartment, student housing Thanksgiving, and I found photos of it, and it's pretty cool because my brother's so young. Even my mom, she looks so young in these photos, and there's just so many people, and it was fun because living in those places, you meet so many people, right? Even when I'm looking at photos, there's so many people from so many countries just in this photo alone. So, and they had us do cool activities. They played, I guess some lady played a guitar for us. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think cooking is also a really fun part of Thanksgiving that I do enjoy. Whether it's for a small family, just my immediate family, or when we have people over. With COVID, with last year, we only did Actually, no. Last year I was in Ottawa because at that time I had just transferred offices for WSP and I came to meet the team here. So I actually did have tofurkey last year as well. I missed out on turkey last year, but usually when I'm home, make turkey or chicken, and for my dad, whatever he feels like it, and then what I was gonna say, something, but totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, like cooking, like you said, a lot of fun. Or even, if you're too busy to cook, even if you go to stores these days, you can literally buy everything pre-made, right? The turkey, sometimes turkey I haven't seen pre-made, but you can always get those rotisserie chicken that's always there. Like you said, gravy is always from store, and you can get mashed potatoes from the store, like if that's already made. So even if you're super busy, whether you're like busy with many jobs, or if you're a single parent, or whatever reason you're busy, you can just go to a store these days and just order it. And I'm sure even places or like online services like Chef's Plate or those kinds of things would like give you turkey dinner if you really wanted it for Thanksgiving. So
oh yeah, you can probably tailor that,
yeah, exactly.
And to make it a Thanksgiving box. But it is like fantastic. I like the cooking is also fun when you're doing it with friends or like with your family, because it's just like sometimes dinner can go so fast, but then it just it is nice to have like someone to cook with you, and then just all the banter that happens while you're cooking and the talking, and that is just nice. So whenever I host a Thanksgiving, that will be part of it. Like we will still be finishing the cooking when people will still be arriving. So then people will be hanging out, having some appy, some snacks before we actually sat down from like to have a proper dinner. And there was one year that our schedules didn't line up for anyone. So we had to end up doing Thanksgiving brunch because literally nobody's scheduled. Like we couldn't do it on the Monday because people were working that night. And then for some reason other days didn't work, so the only time that worked for everyone that was invited was like literally brunch on the Sunday before actual Thanksgiving, which was an interesting year to have Thanksgiving and just having like a big brunch for it. It was fun, but it was just completely out of the ordinary, which there's not a correct way to celebrate Thanksgiving. There's so many different ways to do it, but it's always fun to like sometimes doing it the traditional way, but you can always get out, like step outside that zone and celebrate somehow differently.
Absolutely. And when I was curious because I was thinking of getting HelloFresh because I just moved here to Ottawa and I want to try those kind of meal plan kits. So I looked at their website and they do have a Thanksgiving box, and they bring a lot of things. They bring sage roasted rolled turkey, cranberry sauce, butternut squash, mashed potatoes, green beans, gravy, dinner rolls, pumpkin pie, and you can even add mushroom and leek stuffed squash. So obviously they're not sponsoring us, but
I mean we wouldn't mind though.
Yeah, exactly. So not a bad thing. Like I think it's sold out apparently. Apparently it says we've sold out, so maybe it is really popular, but that's not a bad idea. If you're alone or if you only have a couple of friends, like the portions look pretty good for 2, 3, 4, 5 people probably. So definitely would be able to do that in the future.
I know. And then the thing is like with those, like it's like the portions, right? Like there's not that many leftovers, because honestly dealing with leftovers so wrong. But I mean, we are both from brown households, so you always take leftovers. Like that was something I always did, was just like everyone leaves the house with leftovers. The leftovers are not only left here. And as a true brown person, I do have my proper Tupperware that I use for myself. And then I'll keep the yogurt containers, like the sour cream containers. And that's what people will get. Because if they don't return them, I do not get mad for them not returning them. They can keep them. But if I were to give you out some of my nice Tupperware, you can bet that I'll be behind you. It's like, hey, can you just give me my container back? But yeah, everybody always left with some leftovers. So, they can share the nice food with other people, or they can, suffer like I am and continue eating Thanksgiving dinner for a couple of days.
Absolutely, and food's just one part. Like we said, there's so many things that we look forward to. So we talked about Thanksgivings from our past and Thanksgiving right now. So let's go to the future, Andres. What's one wish that you want to do in Thanksgiving in the future, near future, far future, whenever?
I think one big one that I want to do is being able to have Thanksgiving with my family. So either me going down and celebrating Thanksgiving with them, or them coming up and actually having like a Canadian Thanksgiving. So that's something probably not happening sometime soon. I would say within a year or two, which is like very exciting. So that will be one is like having like actually spending a Thanksgiving with my family. Another thing that I want to do like in a like near future, I would say, is like having Thanksgiving but like outside of the city, like going to a lake, going to a cabin, or like they call it in Quebec, going to the cottage. And I was like, okay, that's just a cabin, but whatever. Going to the cabin or the cottage and like having Thanksgiving there, just like appreciating the entirety of autumn, the lake, the leaves, like the forest. Because let's be real, like autumn is like such a nice season overall outside, that it would be nice to spend Thanksgiving admiring all of the nature. And like going on like a hike before Thanksgiving, like before dinner, and then coming back and then start prepping the dinner and all of that. And then I think that will be like, I think those are a couple of things, like being able, like I'm looking forward to being able to host again Thanksgiving for family and friends. So either that it means me traveling where they are, or they're traveling to Montreal. I'm really looking forward for that, and maybe getting Sherlock a Thanksgiving outfit.
You gotta take cute doggy photos with him for Thanksgiving.
I know, right? How about you? What are some things that you look forward for like the next couple of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think number one, obviously, trying to get my parents to come here. It's hard because Thanksgiving is only one day off, unlike America where they get 2 days off. I think Thursday, Friday. School is out for the whole week, so even longer. But it is hard in Canada when you're far apart and there's only one day off. But that'd be nice. And then I think you said it when you said the cottage idea. Like I've been wanting to do some kind of like cabin getaway, because I don't really go camping in the winter because I find it too cold. But I think October, Thanksgiving is perfect time to have one last summer hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
So going to a campsite or a cottage and just making food there with friends. I think that'd be so fun. Whether you're making turkey or just regular camp food, I think it'd be a lot of fun. So definitely want to do that in the future. And of course, travel. Thanksgiving isn't celebrated everywhere, obviously, but I do want to look up the places that do celebrate Thanksgiving or some sort of Thanksgiving. Go there and try the food there, because why not, right? So definitely want to try that. But again, that's hard because you only get one day off.
Yeah, it is very hard, like over here. And also the day off that you get, it's a Monday, which is just like, okay, then go back to work on Tuesday after like a big dinner. So that's why a lot of people actually do their Thanksgiving dinner on the Sunday. I feel like it's it's more uncommon to see like actual families or people doing their actual Thanksgiving dinner nowadays on the Monday, just because it's very inconvenient for everyone. So most of our Thanksgiving dinners all usually happen over the weekend as well. Just it makes it more convenient for everyone. Okay, you're getting fired. I told you. But yeah, it's just like there's just so many plans. But yeah, and like I would say it's nice having it earlier in October, because then you have something to do in October, and just like from a work perspective, you have a day off in October. And then in November, we have, like, because of other holidays, we get a day off in November. So it spreads around the calendar year, those days off, rather than just having all of them conglomerated into only the one season of the year. So then we can spread them apart. And, it's always nice to recharge and just get ready get ready and down for what comes after them.
Yep, exactly. And I guess coming to Ontario, we don't really celebrate, or we don't get time off for Remembrance Day. So Thanksgiving being off is amazing because you don't have another long weekend until, Christmas time pretty much. So, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, if they gave us Remembrance Day off, that'd be even better, but who knows if that's going to happen anytime soon. But absolutely, it's a perfect time to just wind down, fall colors. Like, that's one thing that in Ontario, Quebec, where it stays for a long time because you don't get cold really fast. So definitely enjoying outside, outdoors in the fall colors. Gotta get those pumpkin spice lattes, everything pumpkin spice flavors. So just a fun time all around, I think. As I grow older, I appreciate fall a little bit more, but summer's still the best season, of course.
And talking about pumpkin spice latte or pumpkin spice, I still have to get my first pumpkin spice of the season. Just live in Montreal, you have TMs and you have Starbucks, but usually you just go to the small coffee places because we love French culture. I still have to have my first pumpkin spice. Thank you, Sherlock. We appreciate your contribution to the podcast. So I still have to get that, and just enjoying it. So I think you should write a heavily strong letter to Doc Ford asking for for Remembrance Day off. I don't know if that's gonna get picked up by it.
Probably will. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just throw it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. It's just a great time also, to be surrounded, and that's the thing. We've been talking about family, friends, and all that, but it's up to you who you want to be surrounded during Thanksgiving. I know a lot of these holiday things are family oriented, and that you should spend time with them. But nowadays, what is families look so different. So in my case, yes, I have my nuclear family, but all of them are back in Mexico. But then I have what I call my Canadian family. So that's everyone that I've met, and everyone that it's part of my close circle here in Canada. And that's who I spend Thanksgiving with, and do a lot of the major holidays and celebrations and all of that, because those are the people that are pretty close to me. So whoever you choose to celebrate Thanksgiving with, I would say do it with those that you are very thankful for, but also those people that have meant something in your life.
Yep, absolutely. So that's just the spirit of Thanksgiving, and coming to an end of the episode. I think it's just a time to, like you said, it's just a time to reflect on what we know, what we've learned, and how we can apply that going forward. And I think that's just a good life lesson going forward in anything, really, not just Thanksgiving. You should always be thankful. I know that's one of the people, sometimes people say, oh, why can't you? It's why can't you be thankful every day for things you have? Or this comes out especially during Valentine's Day, it's why can't you love the person that you're with or that you're, with every day? But I mean, I don't find it a bad thing to celebrate and have that one day to celebrate, be extra thankful, or because the rest of the days, you sometimes forget to be thankful. Sometimes you get caught up in the stress of the world, or, your own worries and stuff that you just forget, and you complain a lot more, and which is perfectly fine, right? You have your stresses, you have your worries, but it sets up a day where you're thankful, and you can sit down and, like we did earlier, list all the things you're thankful for, which, honestly, that's not a bad idea.
That's completely correct. And just do that. And of course, indulge in amazing food, because if anything, there's so many things to the holiday, but let's be real, it is food centered and we love to see it.
Exactly. So with Andres, what are you looking forward to for the upcoming week?
So for the upcoming week, despite other workplaces and despite just having one day off everywhere else, my guild does give us a couple of days off. So I'm excited because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday there's no classes. So I actually can actually catch up with some sleep. Um, and catch up with school because it's like they're like, oh yeah, it's your break, but some profs decided that it wouldn't be a break. So we have assignments actually due right after coming in from it. uh, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to actually being able to readjust my schedule now that I've been working and studying for a bit, and I know what would work best for me. So kind of like getting back into establishing that routine. um I'm excited to like just seeing, going to a couple of places around in Quebec probably for the weekend, just to continue and explore when it is possible before we get hit by the S word here. And then what else am I looking forward to? I think that's it. I think the thing that I was looking forward, though it came very last minute, but I'm glad we did it. Was like the coming and visiting you over here in Ottawa. I think that's like something that I am very happy that I did, just to get like, even though I really enjoy Montreal, I felt like I needed a little bit of a break from it, and just like do a little bit of an escape. Which is not bad, honestly. It's nice that it's only a 2 hour drive. And honestly, driving that highway is like it was a very nice drive. It wasn't like bad at all. So yeah, that was something I'm looking forward. So maybe I look forward to like doing it again sometime in the future before it gets snowy and highways get closed because of snow. Because snow, it's a thing over here in the East Coast. But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking forward to. Sleep and hello. Sleep and catching up with things. How about you? What you're looking for this week, buddy?
So like I said earlier, I do wanna try HelloFresh because like I said, I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, living by myself now, and it's kind of hard to be working and make food, and just go grocery shopping. Just there's no time. There's no, well, right now no vehicle either. So definitely want to try out HelloFresh. So that's currently I've been doing that, looking it up, researching it for the last couple of days. Obviously it's not a long term thing because I do love cooking for myself, trying new recipes. But even HelloFresh, like I've been looking at it for the last couple of days. It looks pretty cool because they send you like the recipes, the ingredients. So like you skip the grocery shopping part, and I think a lot of people have been doing HelloFresh these days. Like I was recommended to it by my cousins actually, because they recently started doing it. So then I think I'll definitely want to try that. Once again, not a sponsor, but we'd love to have you.
Yeah, right.
But definitely, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to because I think my first box comes on the not this week, I guess, because I skipped it for this week, but the next Tuesday, sorry. So, once I try it, I'll let everyone know how it is.
Please let us know, because then maybe you'll get us hooked up on it as well. Because yeah, grocery shopping is like an entire ordeal. Like you really have to give yourself at least 2 hours to be able to get to the grocery store, getting all your groceries, explore around this store, and then coming back and putting everything away. So it's definitely like one of those big ordeals. And then if you meal prep, then it's like an extra 2 hours. So it becomes an event.
Absolutely. So with that, Andreas, let's wrap it up. And I want one last thing that you're thankful for before we sign off for the week.
I am thankful for this podcast. I think like I hadn't mentioned it, but yeah, I am thankful for this. It's always something nice to look out for, or look for during the week. It's just like that one time during the week that it's just us catching up, which is very nice because besides like being able to talk about different topics, it's just like a nice way to catch up with with one another. So yeah, I am very thankful for the podcast and the opportunities to do something outside of school, outside of work, and just keep on diversifying those pastimes and hobbies. So that is something that I'm thankful for. How about you?
Absolutely, the podcast has been an amazing time. I look forward to doing it every week because there's so much to talk about, and I feel like we just talk forever. One thing I'm really thankful for is just being in Canada. You know, like there's so many other places that we could be, so many places that have it worse than us. You know, like we see on the news all the time, especially like places like Afghanistan right now, or even Syria, or even the United States, because sometimes it gets messy down there. And so I'm super thankful for Canada, which has been our home for a long time now, the longest I've lived anywhere, and it's welcomed me with our open arms, and I'm loving it. So definitely thankful for that.
Awesome. So as we wrap up, just if you want to share with us what you're thankful with or thankful for, don't hesitate to slide into our DMs. So Brishing, what are our platforms?
So, like always, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or crybaby stuff, you can always reach out to us at the Two Average Brown Bros Podcast on Instagram or Twitter. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thankful for. We'll put a poll out on Instagram to see what you guys are all thankful for, and let us know. We'll be happy to talk about it. About anything, and not just Thanksgiving. I know for Americans and other places they like Thanksgiving in November, or like what's Thanksgiving, but when that time comes, we'll talk about even more thankful things, because we're appreciative of everything we have.
Exactly. So don't forget to reach us out there. We're always there. And once again, we're also thankful for all of you listening to us this entire month. It's like almost been 6 months or more of doing this. So we're thankful that you've been sticking around and listening to us every Monday when we release the episodes, or whenever you listen to it, because it's a podcast and you can listen whenever you want. But once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to us. And other than that, we'll catch you up next Monday with another brand new episode of the Two Average Brown Bros Podcast. Bye.
See ya.